There you go.
Kind of big. You don't
What
want
he
to
said.
What I said.
Welcome to the Sacred Grounds with Dan Brady as the current host. For however short a period of time, God knows he may not last the night. This is the longest running open mic in the known and unknown universe, serving up good food and fine poetry since 1972. Let's have a big hand for Teddy and Fiona, our hosts. And please support this reading by enjoying the food and drinks served here. Please respect the mic. Keep the conversations not to a whisper, but just shut up while somebody's doing a poem, you know. And by the way, if sometimes you gotta go somewhere and do something, do it between poems rather than walking in front of the person delivering the poem at the time. Doesn't say that here, but hey,
that's okay.
It's common respect, not just for the mic, but for the other people. Okay, so and vibrate, airline mode, cell phones. We know about those things. We turn them off now. So we get to the interesting part of this page, which is tonight's feature is blank parentheses.
Rusty Rebar, who is in the house? Where is he? Is he back there someplace? Where'd he go?
Who will give the Queen's wave? Where is Rusty?
Wherever. He might be. He's in the head.
Okay, he's waving from the head.
He's indisposed. Thank you, Rusty.
The keynote will be blank parentheses.
Owen D.
Owen Dunkel.
Owen Dunkel, right there. The King's Wave. Wow, the mini feature is yet again blank parentheses.
This will be Greg Pond, who is not in the house as of yet, but will be.
But Greg is always worth it.
Yes.
And the last word will yet again be blank parentheses.
That's whoever happens to be last. No one took the last word last time, so then we are stuck with whoever winds up there is there, and that's all.
So that is the.
There's the feature of the evening. Let me give him a round of applause right now. There it is. He came back in to honor us with his presence and just desserts.
Please note the link, which is Ustream, and they're doing it now.
Yes,
and,
we're live.
So you can just go to Ustream TV and then search on Sacred Grounds Cafe, or you can use that entire link over there. And it can't be here. If you're not here, you can view it. How many of you are not here tonight? Okay, good.
Well, not all here.
Now, want to hear so-and-so, see his poems again? Well, you can. And want to do a self-critique? No problemo. You can look at it on the web. More importantly, it's on the way. It is a way to put out the word. I refer to the ongoing theme, which is this for the ongoing theme? Never doubt that a small group of committed citizens, say it with me, people, can change the world. Indeed, it's the only thing that ever has. Margaret Mead.
Thank you.
Tonight's theme is
declension of the teeth.
What he said.
What I just said.
And the fabulous door prizes are we'll learn later.
Okay, is that it?
Yeah.
Okay.
And if you wish to record someone, Martin, please ask their permission. That Martin, the one over there.
Oh, yes, he always asks permission.
As soon as you've done so, I mean, I know that one over there only records generally himself because he's such an egomaniac and he's also got grandchildren in New Jersey.
That's him, actually. He's talking about him.
That would be me.
Okay.
So,
next.
That's it.
All right.
And the first person is...
No, we have another...
We have another announcement.
Well, then I only signed up for this announcement.
Yes, you give him a round. He did that very well.
Thank you. I'll be here all night. Well,
all right, and now this is something I've been doing recently. As you will soon see, it is a proposition. I call it Proposition 1, the first proposition of the Party of the People's, the party of the first part, which is everybody that happens to exist. Go ahead.
There's food on this.
Is there?
Dried food.
I didn't do it.
Spindle.
All right.
All right, Proposition 1. Whereas warfare is the worst of all crimes, in all that it embodies, encourages, and rewards all others. Whereas the definition of war as used in Nuremberg trials is met for the purposes of this proposition?
Is neat.
Is meet?
Yes, it's an old English term.
Oh, I thought you messed up. I messed up.
I do
Sorry.
that.
Trials is meat for the purpose of this proposition.
As opposed to potatoes.
That's right. And give me some gravy while we're at it. Therefore, we, the party of the first part, all citizens of any nation, all those who suffer from the effects of privations of war, who oppose it as a system, as behavior, as a socially accepted institution, call for the end of war, cessation of all hostilities, the standing down of all military forces, and universal disarmament. Let it further be known, we the people, the party of the first part, state by our assertions at this time and place, that we stand opposed to the existence of the use of military force as we know it. All in favor of Proposition 1, please signify.
Simple signification by raising hands. Okay, there we go.
All those opposed?
Opposed.
Come on, give me a post. I
And
need
then-
somebody to beat up with.
And then abstentions.
We're going to get you later. And
Abstentions.
those, oh, I know, I was going to say that
Oh,
next.
sorry.
But you said it already. Abstention?
No, you're the guy.
Oh, I'm the guy.
I'm just
He's the
leading.
interrupter. You're the guy.
Yeah.
Abstentions?
Okay, so there's no.
Zilch.
So
I think it passed.
yes, it did pass. I think we had about 9 or
And my instructions
10
are to give
votes.
this back to you now.
yes. You may give that back to me now. All right, I'm gonna.
And our keynote.
Oh no, I got to do the.
Not our keynote.
Not our keynote is next. Oh, and you're getting ready. So these are the door prizes which we'll hand it out at the end of the day, end of the evening, to those people who are brave enough to get online. Hannibal's Oath: The Life and Wars of Rome's Greatest Enemy. Just in case you want to know. Aging Thoughtfully: Conversations about Retirement, Romance, Wrinkles, and Regret. I don't know if that really is appropriate for many people here, but still. These have been given to me. My Name is Red by Orhan. I don't know how to say that. It's like Russian. Pamuk.
Orhan Pamuk.
Say again.
Pamuk.
Pamuk. You know it?
Turkish.
Oh, so someone knows this person. All right. So.
Yeah, my brother-in-law wrote the first biography of him.
Oh, nice. Nice. This is the most elegant equation, Euler's formula, and the beauty of mathematics by David Stipp. This I don't know from anything because, like I said, these have been given to me to give away. And then Andrea Camilleri, New York Times bestselling author of Angelica's Smile. This is Game of Mirrors and Inspector Montalbano Mystery. Just in case. That's what it says. And if none of those float your boat, you can do the keynote, which you'll see in a moment. Choose next week's theme, which this is the ongoing theme is the Margaret Mead quote, but the daily theme is Declension of DT. Okay. And then the mini feature, which you will see Mr. Pond doing, the last word, which you don't have except whoever winds up there, and the co-pilot who comes over here and helps with this and odds and ends and whispers sweet somethings in everybody's ears. All right, so without further ado, Mr. Owen Dunkel will be coming forward to give us
The keynote.
Give him a round of applause to get this kicked on and open up.
Sign up if you want to read.
You need to move it this way.
Yeah.
You're going to be out of there.
Moving the mic, not the best idea.
Okay, thank you.
Thank
As
you.
my keynote poem, I'll read Ceremony After a Fire Raid by Dylan Thomas. 1. Myself, the grievers grieve among the street, burned to tireless death, a child of a few hours with its kneading mouth, charred on the black breast of the grave the mother dug, and its arms full of fires. Begin with singing. Sing, darkness kindled back into beginning, when the caught tongue nodded blind, a star was broken into the centuries of the child. Myself grieved now, and miracles cannot atone. Forgive us, forgive us your death, that myself, the believers, may hold it in a great flood, till the blood shall spurt and the dust shall sing like a bird. As my grains blow, as your death grows through our heart. crying your dying cry, child beyond cockcrow, by the fire dwarfed street we chant by the flying sea, and the body bereft, love is the last light spoken. O steed of sons in the loin of the black husk left. 2. I know not whether Adam or Eve, the adorned holy bullock, or the white ewe lamb, or the chosen virgin laid in her snow on the altar of London, was the first to die, in the cinder of the little skull. O bride and bridegroom, O Adam and Eve together, lying in the lull under the sad breast of the headstone, white as the skeleton of the Garden of Eden. I know the legend of Adam and Eve is never for a second silent in my service over the dead infants, over the one child who was priests and servants, word singers and tongue in the cinder of the little skull, who is a serpent's nightfall and fruit like a sun, man and woman undone, beginning crumbled back to darkness, bare as the nurseries of the garden of wilderness. 3. Into the organ pipes and steeples of the luminous cathedrals, into the weathercock's molten mouths, rippling in 12-winded circles, into the dead clock burning the hour, over the earnest Sabbaths, over the whirling ditch of daybreak, over the sun's hovel and the slum of fire, and the gold pavement laid in requiems, into the bread of a wheat field of flames, into the wine burning like brandy, the masses of the sea, the masses of the sea under, the masses of the infant-bearing sea, erupt fountain and air to utter forever, glory, 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 the ultimate, the sundering ultimate kingdom of Genesis thunder. Thank you very much.
Yeah, nicely done.
And since he read a poem by somebody else, I give him the attribution sheet, and he lets me know the name of the poet and the poem so that I don't always say Charge of the Light Brigade by Henry Mancini.
Buford.
And Buford, our first one on the open.
And if you can take the on-deck circle.
Oh, yeah. I was having Ed is next. Oh,
Buford, then Ed.
all right, there we go.
School starts. School starts next Monday for me. When I go to a workshop, my best friend at work informed me about. Big kids in high school need different things than younger kids. I guess that's obvious. Is it good? All right. I've enjoyed both groups in the over 20 years I've taught. All right. There's one. Here's the, I don't know if it's shocking or not. It's shocking to me. This is called I Chase. I chase after women, younger and older. The young ones may still want babies, such as one young woman who says she wants 2 from me. This is a Craigslist situation. I have to admit, I like the attention.
All right, Ed, you're up. Owen, you're on the on-deck. Ed, you're up.
I'm up, okay.
Owen, you're next.
This is Ed my cue, ladies and gentlemen. A nice welcome, and then we're going to keep on going.
Oh, no. What I gave my heart to. Within me, an intruder who is not me and is a part of me. We coexist as I exist. He swallows, I drink, who'll die when I die, or so I think. From an old faded sepia photograph, my hair was severely brushed and my damp face looked pink, painted over and blotched. I had a young firm face then wide-eyed as if waiting to catch it, whatever it was, to catch it and to take it apart, to understand what the virus of life was presenting to me. Me who couldn't then have seen myself or my kind as a virus swarming out of our planet, attempting to conquer, perhaps colonize stars. Last week, early, I sat at a window looking at the large, heavy cones attacked by huge, awkward crows disturbing all other life in that tree. Recalling Grammy Delahan's warning against following the crows before you die, the way rodents do, picking up the crow's leavings. I see now I have become a kind of crow. Though part of a system, I begin to be conscious with a bad conscience. Sometimes I think I'll never learn spelling, which is sorting surrendered hand scratches called letters. Good law. Misspelling's legal breakdown. Anarchy's alteration from a rule, both breakdown and a change. Transformation, mutation. Some sort of alteration seen as reason and result. Pink burning to purple. The Blade Runner's girl, Rachel, though biologically engineered, gets conscious. Or Pinocchio crying and then becoming a real live boy. Such transformations and misleadings are revolutions from accepted arrangements, umlauting different drummers dancing of cant and change, as if missed spelling. Here then, there remains of what I gave my heart to. We remember Magnolia, trip down memory lane. Indeed, last year's Magnolia, time machines march on, view the past only, scanning for answers, for suggestions. If any are disclosed or uncovered, the machine never talks future, only scans backward without any updates. And the time machine memory only blurs the velvet picture in any future rescan backward, because the most recent past is the foggiest of what was, having no historical certainty, validated by memory, because those mists seem more real than today's blinder confusions, those confusions we stumbled in right now. Magnolia, once white, darkens, but we remember how it was. High house, car hopping. At Land's End, where the city of San Francisco has a love affair with the Fort Point site, the Haas Lilienthal House, Angel Island, and the Musée Mécanique that used to be at Cliff House, out at Ocean Beach, where the seals used to bark. Out there on these rocks where great ships foundered long ago in their great sentences of life and death, are limbos, unfinished symphonies. Because the wheres and the whens keep turning. And this makes all of it feel like, to me and even to Richard Steger, that we are on a spinning plate half dipping into the Pacific Ocean. And where we are now is on some tilting rate stage, and the future out there is our audience. A new generation who've driven in to watch. Thank you.
Thank you.
Next we have Owen Dunkel once again, and followed by Tommy A.M. You can have the on-deck circle if you like, Tommy.
Yeah, always coming back because he was the keynote, and the keynote always reads a poem by someone else, and now you get the chance to hear him.
This is my latest poem. Stone demigods, it's fairly short. Stone demigods. The sorcerer wanders over the skies. The snake hovers along the river. The hunter lets fly from a quiver of arrows. A darkening moon narrows. A flight of sparrows penetrating the blue. I am mad at a metaphor as the day becomes one slow blanket of fog. Okay, thank you. Poem at Starbucks. Poor power day long selling astride the sky. I wonder why there is lunch light. Metaphors came to me in dreams. The light of the moon climbing the clouds, the rage of the sun antagonize the moment. Nothing caresses the empty sky. Chances are the night is barren and does live, 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 and leaves us to hope for abandon. After money, there is but one. At Starbucks, there is but one green leaf on which to write poems like I wrote the week before, as each flight of fancy before Shelley. A poem of deadly longing. A cloak of clouds salutes the day's uprising. Now I know why haiku were invented to overcome the day's shortcomings. Patience. I have patience with the stillness. No young queen comes to show me the green, to sleep with the queen. Mystic air. There is only air, the only thing that is there. Metaphors vanish in the cold air. About such things I do care for the wind and wish it would vanish. After Wallace Stevens. Imagine the fact that much of reality is silent as the god of money.
It's God's go.
Poem at Starbucks. Strides enough fair children kneel, keep off the stars, dull to perceive heaven. Some dazes glory, all rights ahead, gazes, sexpot bunces. Hyenas for hiding, kiss all beings, hassles for hiding, nouns are proper for the occasion. I can light your way, college cauliflower and virgin. Reformers resound, sounds like a trickle, a tickle of water. Kids carouse to the carousel ballroom. Poem. The twilight melody speaks its golden solemn cares. People walk, the streets are tight and sincere. The music makes mere sounds. Young girls stride by as if they're on parade. The twilight lilies become the evening. Poem. The sunny steps of the cathedral, the mind, the fallen cup, the stars from the nowhere to heaven. It slings the arrows of earth's death and dishonesty, travailed as afforded days, wanderings and wonderings, the wandering and wondering we so avail. Poem at Starbucks. Crudely persuade us, joy bestride the hours. I reach out to fantasize. The hour is quiet, pulsing rhythm makes my blood sing with joy. Autumn is approaching. There is nothing left of me. I will never see this hour again. I will see the sea again someday.
Thank you most of all. And around, please. And now, Tommy Nick, right?
Yes.
Give
Followed
this
by
man a round of applause.
Lisbeth. Lisbeth.
On deck chair.
Lisbeth.
Oh, that's she's over.
This is Lisbeth.
Oh, this is Lisbeth.
That's Lisbeth.
Okay, you're
All
good.
right. You know how to do the microphone dance. There we go. There he is. All right.
Okay. I'm not wearing 2 pieces of male clothing. That's what I'm suddenly thinking, standing by the side of the New Jersey Turnpike in drag. Hot August night, 1973. as the state trooper who pulled us over turns his attention to me. After frisking my 3 friends, the 4 of us in Sage's old beat-up car, heading to a gay dance in New York City, I'm going to get busted for female impersonation. Wonder what the penalty is in New Jersey. The sweat is running down my upper lip. I can taste makeup seeping into the corners of my mouth, mixing with my saliva. Is my face coming apart? I'm no longer stoned. What a way to sober up. I've never been in jail before. What will they do to me at the police station? Can I plead temporary insanity induced by Sage's killer weed? Reefer madness? I'll have to call my papa to bail me out. If they don't kill me in prison, my Italian papa will do the job. But Sage can talk his way out of any fix. He always has a trick up his sleeve. I did what he told me to do before we got out of the car. His final instruction was, don't say nothing. No matter what happens, let me do all the talking. The trooper's looking me over. He's so close, I can smell his sweat. I'm staring at the car speeding by, watching him from the corner of my eye. Why doesn't he say something? His X-ray vision searing into every cell of my body, exposing my deepest, darkest secrets. He's already checked every inch of the interior of the car and the trunk. Found nothing, no trace of the bag of weed. He's determined to find something, anything. Busting us would score him points, a mention in the State Trooper Hall of Fame. I'm sure he's thinking, where the hell is the dope? The trooper's mouth finally opens. I brace myself for the worst. Is he reaching for his handcuffs? Miss, you can get back in the car now. I don't know how long it is before someone breaks the silence. We're back on the turnpike, and Arnold starts laughing uncontrollably. Then Stephen and Sage. It takes me a moment to let go. Arnold's hand is suddenly on my crotch, unzipping me, pulling the plastic bag of weed from my underwear.
Smoke some.
Sage was right. It was the only place the state trooper would never think to look. True story, I couldn't make that up. True story.
And this is Antoinette. Lisbeth?
Yes.
Oh, I'm sorry interrupting you. Sorry.
2 more shorts.
Apologies.
Shorts, no pun intended. In the heat of summer, in that old house on Bainbridge Street, I couldn't fall asleep without first pulling a cover up over my head, praying it didn't slip off during the night. Didn't matter how hot it got in my small room without a fan. I knew that a sheet was the only thing that made me feel safe enough to close my eyes. Going to the bathroom was not an option. It was something I learned from my brother, that a simple sheet was enough to protect me from roaches crawling into my mouth or ear while I slept. Another true story. And finally, my full name is Tommy Avicoli Mecca, and this is a piece about that name and why I have that name. My name did not arrive on the Mayflower, travel west in a stagecoach, or fight in the Civil War. It came through Ellis Island a little over a century ago with Cosmo Avicoli and Nicola Mecca, 2 men in the deep south of Italy who boarded boats in Napoli, carrying with them untold numbers of ancestors who had worked the land for centuries. Their dreams flowed like an IV through my umbilical cord. Relatives called me Tomas or Tommaso. To the nuns, I was Thomas, though that name never felt comfortable to wear. I chose Tommy with an I when I started doing drag. It's androgynous. Besides, Italian doesn't have a Y, and neither do I. Tommy Avicoli Mecca is a name that won't let me forget that like an old Mediterranean olive tree that has lived for thousands of years, I have many mighty branches and deep, indestructible roots. Thank you.
Thank you, Tommy.
And now we have Lisbeth Bailey.
Now, are you new? Is this your first time here?
Reading, yes.
Okay, this is our first time, ladies and gentlemen. Give her the treat. Let's go. Come on, come on, come on, come on. I don't hear it. Antoinette, come sit in the on-deck circle. All right, thank
Thank you.
you. She is ready to go. Welcome.
Thank you.
All right, get really close to the mic and maybe
I'll make it shorter.
like that.
All right.
There we go. She got it.
Okay.
Okay. This one's called Falling. When you fall for it, you will fall into it before you fall out of it. You'll begin as apart from before you fall together, and after you'll fall apart from each other back to where you began. If you fall upon it, you may fall short and realize you've fallen flat. Long before you see it, you may fall back, behind, by the wayside, or fall from the precipice. You may fall asleep or fall ill, more dead than alive. Only then, once you've fallen against it, will you know that as the ground falls out from under you, it all falls through as you fall down. It's called Coming Down. Coming down, you believe it is so unbelievable. You swoon, so lulled by folly, anything to poke. Fun, I can do someone better. Going down, you slide so easy, and then land so hard. The climb back up, so full of junk. Fun, I can do someone better. Touching down, you return to see, but you no longer believe. Stay to ground, where you are bound. Fun, I can do someone better. Just do this one more. It's called Don't Cry. Don't cry, I told you so. Don't cry when you're old. When your own wisdom of your own years reveals that you alone betray the image of the sun in your own eyes, I'll love you still. My heart is torn in two for the love of me and for the love of you. I will carry your pain. I will toil on your behalf. I will rise up in my memories of you. I have myself my own sun. Its brightness is alive. Only when the light fades and I am old will I remember. I told you so. Only then will I cry. Thank you.
Thank you. Beautifully done.
Yeah, very nice. Next we have Antoinette Payne, followed by Wendy
And are you
Walters.
new? This is your new time. Okay, again, ladies and gentlemen, a little bit better this time. A new person. Welcome. Let the way you do that. There's your animal noises out there like All right.
Get close to the mic.
Oh yeah, you got to really like within.
That's the ticket.
Yeah, really.
Okay.
That's good.
Industrial City Street stopped at the light, lime green stucco the garage. First production starts at 8, acupuncture neon flashes above artstuff.com. She's arrived, tall, elegant woman, choreographed herself to be here. Brown paper bag tickets hold their hats against the wind, stand in line for sold-out show.
Nice.
Where's abundance? Senators toss red, representatives hide white, president hangs on blue. Green was lost on the horizon, pushing between cement cracks, unaware the motor brigade does double duty as firing squad. Teachers fight fires, grandmothers patrol for crime, beggars the sex workers, we are spiraling. Control an old illusion, step gingerly on that flat slate path, stopped abruptly, knee-deep through waterfall. 2 chairs perched for view, behind gold ropes under canopy, provide a promise of serenity, peace and joy uncovered within. Super Zen Master starts nonviolent movement in broke-ass Oakland. He's pegged volition, his foremost concern. Like plain sheets of paper, sides do not exist. Sorrow holds happy, compassion's root in love. Interbeing, inter-are, non-elements in things evolution. Meat and alcohol production take what's needed to feed our planet. Standing in a wispy white night dress, strong calves bend down, lift black Labrador. They sit together to tame a wolf. Walk on the edge of a sword, she finds her way home. Small things take her there, trust and a sure foot. A motor scooter travels European narrow streets, turn each corner with faith and a perky toot. Climbing a social ladder in an alley while dodging bullets loses relevance. Days tumble ahead, tourist attractions call. Suddenly before the end we are old, and it has always worked out. Voices down the road outside the merrymaker. Fuck you, ha ha ha, hard on, ha ha, laughing loud, beer soothes. Afternoon pause, stand around, cajole, shout, meet friends, future loves, exes, bar embraces all who imbibe. Alone or thoughtful need not apply. West Street sings, struggle gone away, home taking shape, faint, face paint, sanding floors. Church lady in white gloves tells of neighborhood news. Chocolate cupcake crumbles on graffiti-stricken curb. Where no one goes out at night, acacia leaves fall carrying away our woes. Crazy grass climbing ivy, slips smile to frown, green patches hoard magic, sprouts of various traditions, consumed by mist so thick we only hear motors revving song, dimming as they pass. Slow, lazy, distant children yell a muted laugh like relics deep cavern filled with ancient tea leaves. All souls journey home, an ocean of beings cross-connected in no time. A little bit different. Patchouli fills the air when the motorcycle cop stops the bus. It travels at night with no passengers, jetting through empty streets as if fueled by eerie fluorescent wands. Destination is of little consequence, only the ride matters, where misconnections find each other before the next tour leaves the station for good.
Thank you.
Thank you very much. Perfect. And then,
Followed by Ed Melendez.
and then let's take the on deck.
Anyone else who wants to sign up, jump in.
And we thank you for every opportunity you're providing them. I'll get back to me on that. Did we give her a round of applause?
I give you a round. Okay, so this is a poem I wrote with a group of other people when Dan here gave a writing prompt at another poetry circle.
Oh.
And he listened to everyone's poems and wrote down a few words from each poem, and then we all had to put them to make them into something. So this was what I ended up with. I actually ended up with something slightly different, but I edited a little to make it a little better. But anyway, I kept the same words in it. I used all the words too. This crisis in life is amazing. I tell you, I did all my homework in this grand universe, and still that phantom of forgetfulness reappeared, stealing my blue true dragon of courage. Yet, as invisible as a sand grain on the doorsill of time, one by one, I let every single pill thought fraught with fear go into the light, in friendship with life, at last. Woo. And this is a poem I wrote a while ago, haven't read for a while. It's a series of poems reflecting the mystical journey of a soul coming into life, like just kind of what I imagined it might be like for a soul incarnate. And I call it From Whence to Whither. Beyond time and space, an inkling of a feeling, of a presence, in the love and joy of life, for itself I came, a pure possibility of being, out of a calling, asking for me. Conception. I entered a dark place, not knowing what was happening, only that I was on a journey to an experience called embodiment, not knowing where I was going, only that I was on my way to something never happened before. Out of eternity I came into a world of form. In the womb, down in the deep, watery soup of something, surrounded by this watery something, I began to become, to grow, to become a growing someone. I felt the subtlest vibrations and the slightest impressions touching me as I sensed each passing moment of changing bodiness. Soon I felt the beating of a mother's heart, my mother, my God, my world to be, becoming this. She and I were one, she outside and yet here with me, I inside and yet here with her. And so, for what seemed forever, I remained in this symbiotic heaven, noticing myself changing with each physical appearing, characteristics that would be mine in this new life. Little did I know that while I would develop in wondrous and magical ways so many parts of me, that I would forget who I really was for a long, long time. Okay, this is the last one. This is the last section, birth. Then there came a day, wrought with the strangest, mysterious power, pulling and pushing and turning around and upon all that I seemed to be, all that was me, some great force. What was this life making a life through me out of itself? Suddenly my world of dreamy calm had changed, as wave after wave of motion thrust me from the deep vault where I had dwelled so long in utmost wonder. And I heard her cry, the cry of my beloved, the cry of my mother God, the cry of myself, full of sadness, full of joy, what we were becoming, what I was, and now am.
Thank you. All right.
Ed Melendez.
Ed Melendez, and
Yeah.
then
Me.
David, you're on
And
the
then you.
team, and me, and
then Richard.
and then Joseph, and then our feature of the evening. That's okay.
Right,
Oh, sorry.
I read these the last 3 days.
Pull outs?
What's
Oh,
that?
yeah, can you, let me raise this up and get
Is that,
closer.
How's that?
That's much better.
Right.
Yeah, really on it.
Right. Distance. Distance from bed to kitchen, from stool to drink to the loo. Distance from pen to paper to poem. Wait, the brain says. Wait, watch, listen, feel. Distance from broken to whole. Distance from love to quiet. Alright, how about this one today? It's a shame. It's a shame not to have a funny quip for you tonight. I've tried to funnel humor out of friends, films, and old TV, but it runs away, turns from me with disdain, with a smirk. It's a shame I can't banter in couplets. The whole immigrant thing has been on my mind as an immigrant from El Salvador. So I've been thinking a lot about coming to America very young and just thinking back in El Salvador. So I've been sort of reflecting on that. So these next two poems are about El Salvador. My unknown country, lost at El Salvador. Where are your borders now that they've disappeared from all my maps? Where can I hang these flags of childhood when there are no poles, no open doors? I try to remember my native tongue, but all her lexicons are burnt up. My cadence of youth drifted and was silenced. Do you see young boys playing soccer, eating pupusas and plantains? Do you see? Do you see them? Where's your name? Your books have erased it, and my citizenship. Passing. Revolutionaries came and disappeared all over your countryside, from La Libertad to Aguachapan to San Salvador. Tropical grass holds their whispers, banana leaves that claim their long pens. Soft Pacific waves carry lost smiles, looked for, forgotten, sunk. This is my last one. Half memory. She had a fancy name, long and illustrious. She was 5'2" from Edinburgh. Short brown-haired girl living in London, an architect passing her youth, with fun and designing quirky structures. She was lovely and well-spoken, her voice like a soft, friendly song, deep with mystery, full of the highlands and rain. We drank beer at our friend's flat-warming party, sat a few hours on hardwood floors. No one bothered us. We were self-contained, talking of books and long stories, each moment unreal, brilliant, with possibility. I can't remember her name.
Ed Melendez. Right. And now, David earned the right. Give him a round of applause, please.
First, declension of the teeth.
Which is the evening's theme, by the way, just so you know. I forgot to mention that.
Chomp, 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 chewing us, chewing us, chewing us. I bit, you bit, two bit, we bit, obit, orbit. Mole, mole, molar, hick, hike, hoke, Huius, Huey Lewis, Huey Newton. Grind, ground, grown, cuspid, custard, bicuspid. If you want absurd, I've got it.
Yeah.
So here's what I wrote today, and then I wrote this before I did this. I am just a long stick with a sheathed finger blade mounting and a three-legged orchard ladder. Snip, snip, snip. If a branch is 1 inch in diameter or less, lop, it's gone. Tree caresser, bush scratcher, honed by diamond dust, my cut is clean, to the node, on point. Wisteria goes into hysteria as I approach, for it is too often out of control. I hover around the edges, the borders, the skirts, pleating here, trimming there, ball shape, cone shape. I treat my mother good-naturedly so she can put her best branch forward. Limning limbs, leaving the best leaves, twirling twigs, respecting roots, I dapple her dimples, so when forgetful fog moistens her canopy, she can absorb her fill and greet each day lightly with a wind whisper or a cloud wave. And
Yesterday.
that was today, this was yesterday. Bird's eye view. She stepped with mountains under her feet. With her sister, crossed parts of Europe, boarded the waters, crossed the Atlantic to walk in Manhattan, Brooklyn. Your safe passage allowed me to cross the Rocky Mountains at Pawnee Pass, to dabble a bit on the Pacific Crest Trail, to pause for the roaring murmur of Tuckerman Ravine of Mount Washington. I spoke to magnificent hummingbird atop the Great Divide in Panama at 7,000 plus feet. I am the old man of the mountains. My nose may have fallen off in New Hampshire, but my knees are ledges, slabs of stone, redwoods, pines, stomping through wilderness where tree line stops as rock rumbles and waves to the clouds. Bottoms up, top down, simultaneous. If I improvise a sentence as a question, which I did the other day, I stop in the middle and ask you to finish the sentence with the first thing that comes to mind. We are playing a four-handed game with only 2 participants. We say, when a number is multiplied by itself, it is squared. But isn't it really circled by inclusion? We keep adding new people to the game, and the process of self-multiplication appears endless, but this process goes beyond humans and takes place in an abstract, ordinary vein, encountering counting. Its spread might be described as interactive poetry, delivering letters and numbers and combinations and permutations that allow us to back up into the mirror without looking, turn sideways, disappear. Does memory have an image, or are we just looking through the wind?
Am I done? You got about 50 seconds.
Here's a 2-liner. Poetry is just clues to listening. Thank you.
Oh, you saved the best for last. Thank you. Oh, it's me, dear.
Oh, that's right.
Jeez, Louise, man.
I'm so sorry.
It's all right. I knew you were coming there. I was going to mention that, but I forgot to mention that. Hello, I'm your host. I'm going to read a few short poems here for you very much. Thank you. I should talk like that. I should talk like this. So this is from a workshop piece, and they said to write a warning. Okay. For some reason, I went back to my school teaching days, and this was a warning I might give upon a request that I would receive from a 2nd grade student. Warning. You want me to read a story? Do you? Well, I just might. But you should know I don't just read what's there. I will tell stories on a story, give the word on a word, track its roots, and take you way back. We'll go off, connecting to the story, to each other, and more and more. You'll tell me all about it. I do things with stories, with you, inside your imagination. I get under your skin, tickle your fancy, get you to look at things very differently.
Trouble is, once you know how to do that, you never, ever stop. They always want to hear the story. And this is something I rewrote. I wrote recently and then revised, so you're going to get a revision. What with who? Okay, just so you know. Don't confuse my what with my who. That's one kind favor I'll ask of you. Anyone can disguise anyone with what they think they see and by believing what someone else can or cannot be. Skin colors color opinions through and through with unspoken prejudgments invisibly held as true. Yet this sharp blade unseen cuts both ways right through, slicing those whom you see as well as deeply into you. While it may be correct that one always has a choice as to when, where, why, or how one uses one's voice, or that it's vitally matters that you say what you feel, you can't retract the thoughts once you've made them so very real. When you speak, and no matter how you do, don't confuse someone's what with their who. Love is love beneath the skin of anyone you see, so who enslaves whom when perceptions aren't free? Blood is always red, and the soul is void of hue. When you confuse someone's what with their who, the naming separates life from the loving heart of you. What's your take on the color of a kind hand that gives? What's the color of the forever love that always lives? If you keep your heart in the truth, hear what it has to say. Its love and understanding will sweep all the old thinking away. And so, to the man, the establishment, those of the 1%, this matters to us above all else. It's why we rally, why we vent. And we see, we know who you are, and what it is you do. And promise we won't be confusing your what with your who. Thank you.
It's just a good question.
And now, Richard Sanderell.
The Sanderell of the famous Poughkeepsie Sanderells, south of the river.
Followed by Martin.
Followed by Martin of the new Martins, not the old Martins.
The Pine Martins.
There we go. Now we're talking about it. Right?
All right.
Are you ready, Richard?
Barely.
Let her rip.
Your bear? What?
Barely.
Oh, sorry. I thought you said barley.
Any taxi drivers here? I dedicate this to you. All right.
He said no.
Uber, Lyft. Uber, Lyft, Uber, Lyft, Uber, Lyft, Uber, Lyft, Uber, Lyft, Uber. Taxi! Point is to kill you. And you know that?
Apparently you're right about that.
That's right.
My mom said.
This is a new one, unheard, except from last night. I think I read this last night. Yeah, I did. It's called The Beast Takes Control. And so it continues. Some Christians are in their bliss, hoping, praying the end times are here. They continue to believe that everything that's happening is all part of God's plan. They have all the answers. I'm still working on that. I defer to them to a point. They will not be dissuaded. For what our mother endures at the hands of the two-legged, black robes preach from their pulpits, it's okay to plunder the earth, rape her, but remember it all comes from God. That's why God's on our side. All this radiation, not to worry. God has microbes that will take care of it. Better hurry, though. The damage is being done and continues to be done now. Hope your God's not too late. What a mess made. Who's responsible? You? Me? God the Father's not having it. A covenant was made between you and his believers. Your God gave you this planet for stewardship of all on it and in it, and you broke it. The Father wants to know why there are more non-believers who believes in this covenant than the faithful. The beast takes control. The great deceivers are amongst us. The beast is in his rapture. Still of the waters. Still the waters of the coast of Vietnam are stillest of life, yet teeming with life then. Still the waters surrounding these waters are anything but. My memory travels in time with me. One of mother's beauties shown to me at a glance, one doesn't forget what lays before. Like the beauty beholder, both know they have had this moment, at least in the mind beheld. P.S. When bombs explode on land, there are ripples on still waters. And the last one will be echoes in the canyons. They work, study as if there is a tomorrow, walk with purpose, whether there's a purpose or not. Importance of looking busy. Native people of Peru, Ecuador, play guitars, flutes, music that makes you weep from the beauty, joy. All this echoing as air hurling through the chasms, reaching ears that can hear. A sax, a horn, drummer playing on plastic drums. Bring on the choir, go to where power works, speak to them. Perform the story in language, music, dance. They won't come to us, we go to them. Tell them your truths through stories, poetry, sketches, scenes, music, singers, more theater of and from the street. We have no time for fooling around. Our world is having a radioactive and carbon meltdown. No decontamination here, nor ice to spare.
That's the Sanderell. Next one has the Sanderell, actually.
Martin Joseph.
Martin Joseph, will you kindly come forward, please, and ring that bell? Bell. There, focus. There we go. Oh, that's right, you have a camera over there. Okay. I forgot you had the other, I was saying they're okay, but they're not.
Take one.
Take one.
Take it all.
Good evening, Sacred Grounds.
Good evening, Martin Joseph.
I want to give a nod to Samuel L. Jackson, John Heffernan, and James Taylor for this one. And it's called Snake News. Snake News reports that, yes, there are snakes on the plane. The plane is Air Force One. The snakes are not stowaways. They are its honored passengers. I feel for the pilot and the crew. I feel for the country that put them there. I feel for all the countries where the plane will land. I feel for the countries where it will not land, but who will still be affected by the snakes on that plane. Do not imagine for a moment that a mid-air catastrophe, most likely from infighting amongst the snakes, will bring it crashing to earth in a fireball. I'm going after the pilot, hissed the first snake. Are you crazy, said the second. He's flying the plane. I don't care, said the first. I am offended by his breathing. Do not imagine for a moment that it will end in sweet dreams and flying machines and pieces on the ground. Do not imagine that it would change anything at all except to further pollute the atmosphere. There are plenty of more snakes where those came from, and the mechanism that put them there is still fully functional.
Yep.
The Snake News Network reports that the important snakes, only the snakes that matter, all survived the crash. The network commentators admiringly described the slithering as the surviving snakes held a press conference with no cameras allowed. Remember, if it's not snake news, it's fake news. Do not imagine that this was the end of snakes. In fact, they thrived. They slithered across the American map like radio waves from an RKO broadcast tower, attacking supporters and enemies alike. The snakes seek out eyeballs and other bodily orifices in a visceral frenzy of lunges. I went to Sesame Street to ask Elmo and Big Bird how they felt about it. Both of them just shrugged their shoulders and said in unison that democracy seemed like a good idea at the time.
Thank you, Martin. You're not frightening me a little. Oh, no, I'm okay.
You're good. You're good. You're good.
So, this is one of my favorite parts of what I call the show, because it is kind of like a show. And we have two Martins in the house. The Martin you just heard, and now we have Rusty Reed. Huh?
I said, what's his name?
What's his name? Yeah, what's his name over here? Rusty Rebar is the nickname he has gone by. Martin Hickle is the real name. But to give a little bit of a heads up to this person, I have seen him be riotously funny, roaringly imprecative, which means, imprecating and determined to get a point across. Political, apolitical, humorous, silly, memories, passionate. He has spoken of love. He's going to surprise me because he always does, and thus the message is passed to you. Give the man a big welcome, please. Martin Hickle, come on out here. Let me get this microphone set for you. All right.
A big round of applause for the man who's been making this thing possible since Joanna went up to the big Bob Dylan album in the sky.
That's right.
Did she take her name from that song? I bet she did. I'm very presumptuous, as most poets are. I'm really presumptuous. But I'm not here to tell you what you need to know. What you want to hear. That's the first one. I'm not here to tell you what you want to hear, what you need to know, what there is to fear. Fears like pennies. Guess what? We pocket so many. Nor will I tell you not to celebrate. Celebrate, goddammit. Whether celibate or not, abstinent or not, sainted or not, gifted, the title. Gifted as you clearly are to undertake any of this. Celebrate today. Don't wait for 1 in 365. If nothing else, celebrate the gift of breath, the air to make it, the lips to kiss it, and anyone who cares to kiss, because tomorrow is a gift any fool will promise. Tomorrow, friends, is the promise only today we'll keep. How can you disagree with that? Well, I'm sure there must be a way someone would take offense.
Just remember, Martin, I wouldn't have to make sense to disagree.
No, that's true.
Just look at it.
But when we choose to disagree, it's because we feel as though what was said didn't make sense, and we're trying to straighten it out. It's our instinct that create order. As if somehow, on sight of us, we had it all straight. I don't know where that feeling comes from, because you know what? You're wrong. It's not straight in you. It's no more straight inside of me than it is out there. The joke. The man takes his pants to the tailor, and they're there for a really long time. It's like a week, 2 weeks. He keeps calling, no, your pants aren't ready yet. Finally, after a month, he goes in to get his pants. He goes, what took so long? And the tailor said, look outside. Look at what God did in 7 days. Now look at these pants. Order, yes. Straight. That's a Jewish joke, by the way. And people ask me, you're Jewish, aren't you? And I say, boy, is your Judar broken.
Why? Because I talk fast and use big words? No, a member of the tribe finally explained to me, it's the complaining!
Oh.
And I qualify in spades on that one. It's so fun to read after hearing so much great poetry. There were so many triggers in it for me. One, a little ars poetica called certain words. Poetry to your two-line poem. Your two-line poem. Poetry is like luck. You either have it or you don't. Poetry is an order of words. The way luck is a sequence of events, both either fortunate or not so. Neither can ever be bad, like a young man riding in the rain, hands warm in the pockets of a great coat. His mother knew somehow to give pockets perfect for adventure, and riding with elbows between storms on a winter's day, life a road full of promise stretching far ahead. And if that's what happens, then there is luck. And if you happen to see it, poetry. And that's to me what it is when it happens. It's just, you see it and you go, wow, well, write it down when you see it. Don't wait, you know. Because I've heard some great, talking to our first reader here tonight, her little vignettes on the street scenes. They're basically list poems, but you know, you have to make the list sing somehow. This is a list called Under the Awning. By the shed, an empty garden, cardboard boxes line the garage. On the porch, a broken suitcase, tight with snapshots from 40 years. White-haired man holding baby. New car long gone to rust. Sunday clothes, yard-long fish, 2 dogs, 3 cats, 1 senior prom. Curtain rods in bedrooms await the drapes of strangers. Mothballs rattle an empty drawer where condoms hid beneath socks. Over the kitchen sink window, odor of floor wax, the same. A finch arcs under the awning, his nest wedged inside the eaves. So, just the list. Just the list. Sometimes I hope you don't mind, I'm a huge crybaby. Diagnosis. You suffer from too much television. That and a terminal case of nostalgia. Mass mind control may not be the late night drug for you. Side effects include believing what assholes say on TV. An utterly unfounded sense you know what is going on in the world. Trusting people who make more in a night than you will in a year. Somehow have your interests at heart. Confusing attractive broadcast images of narcissists with actual humans. There is hope, treatment simple. Never turn on another fucking television as long as you live. I made that choice about 10 years ago, and I'm a lot upset and unhappy as I ever was.
So it's good.
It's great. It's the cure. Don't watch TV. Wait, they say aging is reversible, at least in some human cells and a few kinds of live mice. But how is that good? Disease and death are wonderful. There's no problem dying will not solve. You think the planet's crowded, wait till everyone who can afford to lives to the ripe old age of Moses. The power of private property truly frightening already. Fewer and fewer own more and more. So no, do not delay growing old. Better put off being born till the right set of parents come along.
That's the ticket.
Don't be in such a rush. No, I don't want those. I had that already. That was hell. Storm warning. And as to the leaky craft called ownership,
We place all our hopes in these imaginary boats, set sail across the sea of time, racked by storms of death. They sink every time. Make a mockery of owning anything, most of all our bodies, though we sacrifice the world to keep them going. Hence many white sheets blowing in the wind, names signed on dotted lines, insisting otherwise. Well, just kidding. You know what it means when you lose your sense of humor? It's just not funny anymore. And as life, like sweet, lovely you and sour, silly me, is mostly a joke, laughter spilling the lightest sound we sad creatures make. And if you cannot laugh at yourself in the mirror of many disappointments, decorating your inner sanctum, what can I say? Death loves to go to funerals. So facing death is easy. It's getting to the meeting. That's the problem.
Yeah, that's mute.
I'm late, okay? I can't stop to talk. I have some of these. Well, whatever you can afford, up to $5. Free if you'd like one. My latest. I don't know. There's some in here that are. They're all great.
Thank you.
McLaren Park. Christmas Day wanders off our small tribe together, parents, child, her husband, walking for another year up past the corner, walking for another year up past the corner of DNA and happenstance. A number ends, another begins. Roads cross and turn away. We take back the months, the days, the weeks, pretend somehow who we were then is here now, though skin and bone and heart no longer us, but we share inside still whatever outside. They say, the view the same. The paths worn deeper, the city through the trees, bright buildings and streets, straight lines cut by sun and wind, more crowded than before. The bay gray, flat like steel, its surface a mask for life. Another presence unseen. Alive in our daughter, kicks and twists around. You're offered a touch. She may well walk here too, once these eyes have closed. The hope moment birth brings, our own death shines in the light of the newly born. It has been my great job assignment for the last 2 months to be that creature's caregiver 4 days a week from 9 in the morning to 5 at night. So I've been an unpaid au pair, a nonsense nanny.
Yeah.
You know, not very good house. I said I don't do house cleaning, okay? You know? I'll take care of the baby, but don't show me the dishes in the dishwasher. This is really dedicated to everyone in the room.
Thank you.
It's called Local Poet.
Yeah.
The two most hurtful words in the English language, crushing, as it were, the meaningless particular against the infinite universal. What other self-acclamation is more singularly attainable? One anoints oneself with mere ink and keystroke, splashes in the river of words, a baptism witnessed, often as not, by only the Lord of imagination, but of every kind of art to try and fail at. Poetry at least needs the barest bones to build a bit of shelter. No guitar and string, not stone or chisel, paint or easel, film or camera, simply pen and paper, and the lonely spoken human voice. To reach out of the night and hold an audience on a corner in the rain where other fellow local poets stand and listen, waiting quietly for their chance, and hardly ever complain.
Hardly.
16th edition, every Thursday night from 10 to midnight. I highly recommend that. It's a great place to go and embarrass yourself. Do you know about the Kava Lounge on Desidero at what's the corner street?
McAllister.
They have a open mic every Tuesday night.
Where? that might be new to me. I don't know. What's the name of the place?
The Kava Lounge.
Kava Lounge?
Kava.
Someone will give me the information. I'll write it down.
All right. It's every Tuesday night.
Every Tuesday.
I read there last Tuesday night.
That would be yesterday.
Okay, a week ago Tuesday, last night, I went home and pouted. Oh, come on, read something happy. I'm sad. Hi, sad. First thing I would do if I were you is change your name. Sad. What a thing to call yourself. Why not be happy? And when people ask, who are you? Just say, I'm happy. How about you? Seeing as where we're all living in denial, might as well get comfortable. You know, we could be here a while.
Warning?
Now, speaking of warnings, how am I doing? I can go on, you know, I'm here through the end of the week, but... gosh, some of these were on these pieces of paper on the table. Good, better, best. Always go for better, if not best. May not always find it, but at least check. True, some things hard to compare. Lovers, dinners, how much you care after hope is lost. You keep searching, or like car keys pray, they turn up when you stop. The right word, the perfect image, how the sun dies beautifully. But guess what? It's you who's dying. Really all you see and later say, splendid. Simply what you look for, if you remember to remember. Good, what you keep in that moment, the smile you picture, eyes before you fall asleep. Time. Well, we don't want to run over our time, you know. I run over time all the time.
I run over the roads.
I run over the time.
Keep backing up.
Silence. There are only two signals. Call or response. The one asking, the other answering. First the beginning, then an ending. The meaning, when there is one, found somewhere in the sending. Or just the signal itself. A little cry in the dark. Please come. I should probably stop there.
Another one.
DNA Lounge. Oh, the Kava Lounge is at the Visadero in McAllister. An open mic is kind of loosey-goosey between 7 and 8. Okay, something from the memory box. The memory box. Or I could cover somebody else. How about Leonard Cohen?
Oh yeah, sure.
All right.
But then you have to fill this out after.
All right.
You like lists.
This is a lift. He stole this from C.P. Cavafy. It's really the Alexander says goodbye. You know, it's what's his name? Mark Antony says goodbye to Alexandra because he's lost Alexander, the city, because he's lost the battle of Actium and Arcadia's coming to kill him. So he's going to go out in the desert, kill himself first. And he imagines one last tribute, one giant parade for his, because he's in a lot, you know, he's like king of the world. And Leonard, being Leonard, takes this incredible vision and turns it into a eulogy for a lost love. Yeah, old goat loses young babe, how sad. It's called Alexandra leaving. Suddenly the night grows colder. Two deities preparing to depart. Alexandra hoisted on his shoulder. They slip between the memories. They slip between the centuries of your heart. Upheld by the simplicities of pleasure, attain the light they formlessly entwine. Radiant beyond your widest measure, they fall among the voices and the wine, upheld by the simplicities of pleasure. I did that right, you know, I did find something. They fall among the voices and the wine. It's not a trick. It's not a trick. Your senses all deceiving, a fitful dream. Morning will exhaust. Say goodbye to Alexandra, leaving. Then say goodbye to Alexandra, lost, even though she sleeps upon your saddle, even though she wakes you with a kiss. Do not say the moment was imagined. Do not stoop to strategies like this. And you who were honored by her leaving, and by that honor had your own restored, say goodbye to Alexandra leaving. Alexandra leaving with her lord, even though she sleeps upon your saddle, even though she wakes you with a kiss. Do not say the moment was imagined. Do not stoop to strategies like this. And you who were bewildered by her leaving, whose code was broken, crucifix uncrossed, say goodbye to Alexandra leaving. Then say goodbye to Alexandra lost. Thanks.
Martin Hickle! Thank you.
Thank you so much. I left our whole verse.
Bravo, bravo.
Bravo, bravo.
I'm over my time.
No, you're right on time, right on the money.
All right, so, ladies and gentlemen, thank you. We're going to take a very quick break here, just so you know. Got to have this in front of me or else I'll forget everything. All right, so just so you know, after the break we have John Rhodes, Christiane, Kevin Reinhardt, Melissa, Garrett Murphy, Bill Klein, and Greg Pond. There's room for a few others if you wanted to sign in. You have not signed in. Anyway, that's that. Also, next week is Wednesday the 16th. That happens to be my birthday. So we're going to do a special little thing here. There's going to be cake. There's a threat of cake.
I love cake.
Thank you. And I'm going to be giving away books, lots of books. You think this is there'll be stacks here. Plus there'll be some of my things here, so you can take those as presents from me to you, etc. ad nauseum. After I get the people coming. Oh, Greg Pond is the mini. He's a Greg. Will you wave, please? And that's our mini feature of the evening. He'll be coming after the break. The camera will be off, so we'll not be recording anything while you move around the house during the break. We'll be back in like 7-8 minutes, something like that. Celebrate, celebrate, dance to the music. Celebrate, celebrate, dance to the music. Okay. You back?
So turn this on?
Yeah, I had
So it's Greg been me?
This one?
Yeah.